Vanakkam and
Vanakkam.
welcome to all friends in this very special discussion today, which is on the 30th year of historic work of acceptance of the Mandal Commission report by the then Prime Minister Mr. Vishwanath Pratap Singh in 1990. August 7, 1990 was the date when Prime Minister accepted the Mandal Commission report in the House of Parliament. And to discuss the huge importance of Mandal Commission report and subsequently now the attempt to dilute its impact and dilute the whole issue of reservation of the OBCs, we have with us Dr. Veeramani, the leader of Dravida Kazhagam, and anyone who has known the history of Dravidian movement in India will know that Dr. Veeramani is the eldest leader of the Dravidian movement at the moment, perhaps the only person at the moment who knows so many things, right from Periyar's movement to all the issues of the OBC reservations, the Mandal Commission report, and now what is happening. The Dravidian parties have played a historical role in the reservation issues, and why it is important to remember this legacy of Mandal Commission, because right now we are witnessing a complete surrender by many of the social justice parties, and it is where we need to remember our history. And there is no other better person than Dr. Veeramani who can take us and who can remind us the importance of this date and the importance of the OBC reservation issue. So thank you very much, sir, for joining in this debate, in this discussion. I would like to ask you, what do you think about the issue of the OBC reservation through Mandal Commission report? How relevant is it right now, and how should we remember it?
Good evening.
Good evening.
First of all, thank you for providing me an opportunity to just analyze what is the implication even after 30 years of Mandal implementation. We have to achieve many things, and we have to protect many things what we have got, because there are forces which wants to demolish the social justice. Social justice is adumbrated in our constitution. And the first preamble itself very clearly says that we must give justice, social, economic, and political. So social justice is not a charity. It is our birthright, according to which the earlier sponsors were the Dravidian Party, the Justice Party, then it was popularly called the South Indian Liberal Federation, which ruled the Tamil Nadu, the erstwhile Madras Presidency during the British rule. 1920s, 20 to 30 nearly, it was a ruling party. In that period, they were the whole pioneers of this movement. Earlier than that period, the same period, earlier than that, just influenced by Jyotiba Phule's social justice concept and the eradication of caste and untouchability, Sahu Maharaj, which happens to be the 200 years nearly, actually Sahu Maharaj in his Golhapur state implemented the reservation first for the backward classes, for the depressed and the downtrodden, 1902. So it is very right thing. Even after 100 years, he was the pioneer. By the same time, he was also very friendly to Justice Party, the then Madras ruling party. Justice Party was started because we want justice, social justice. This was the main fulcrum, main philosophy of the Social Justice Party, the South Indian Liberal Federation. Because Brahmins were under the system, the societal system, under the Hindu religion, due to the caste system, the Manu Dharma it was the prerogative, and they add the injunction, social injunction, that only the upper caste Brahmins should have the monopoly of education. All the other people, particularly the Shudras and the scheduled caste people, they must be deprived. They should not be given any education at all. This is how the society, what made this reservation, why the need for reservation is, why there is a need for social justice is very important. That is why I am telling all these things. If you go through the directive principles of our constitution, Article 46 very clearly says, very important, the weaker sections of the people, particularly scheduled castes and tribes and the backward classes, should be protected from the social injustice. So, the question of social justice arises out of social injustice. Where there is injustice, there is a demand for social justice.
Yes.
So, when there is a disease, we want to have a remedy.
Yes.
So also, due to the caste system, due to the social injunction, due to the social monopoly, we have to carve for our own rights. We will have to demand for our own rights. There, the Justice Party, the then rule of the Dravidian rule, started in 1920s, started feeling about these things, and particularly they want to give more education and employment opportunities. In 1928, virtually, they supported the government of the day because of some values, numbers were lesser than. They saw to it that a communal GO was brought in, a communal government order. In that, it was the first one so far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. Equally in Karnataka also the same thing. Earlier I told it was Sagu Bagaraj who started it in 1902. Like that, the reservation, the social justice, the affirmative action has started. But so many other things in the history. No, it was completely, it has undergone so many trials and tribulations. The vested interest never allowed it to continue. Even after the constitution was brought into practice, declared in 1926, 1950s, 26 January, they declared it as a republic. Immediately they filed one case. From 1928 onwards, the communal reservation was there in education and employment for the depressed and the downtrodden, particularly the backward class, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe people. But they questioned it. No, after the constitution, they invoked Article 14 under the guise of equality. Under the guise of equality.
Yes.
That equality they misplaced. There was a misconception. Even the courts have misconceived it. Equality can there be, there can be equality only among equals.
Yes.
There cannot be equality among unequals. But they interpreted under that, no, on caste basis, this communal GO should go.
Indeed.
Periyar fought it and launched a very great agitation, and people were behind him. And the entire Tamil Nadu, he organized. And due to the efforts of Tandai Periyar E.V.Ramasamy, the leader of the Dravida Kazhagam, which was because from the beginning he was an ardent Congress leader. Even he joined the Congress only for social justice. He quit the Congress only for this cause, because it is a Brahminical abode and the upper caste system is grabbing the Congress. So he started the self-help movement. He supported the Justice Party rule as well as the government. Later on, even though he was elected as the leader of the Justice Party, political party. So all these things combined together, the soil was made very fertile for social justice. So he launched a very big agitation, and that went to Baba Saheb Ambedkar was the then law minister under the premiership of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Jawaharlal Nehru, being a great Democrat, he saw the writing on the wall, and he amended the first Constitution of India for the first time. So virtually, the first amendment of the Constitution was brought by us from people of Tamil Nadu under the leadership of Periyar. That was meant not only for the beneficial, not only for Tamil Nadu, for the whole of India, because this concept of social justice was unknown to various other parts of India. But it was an order, it was an amendment for whole of India, so that it benefited almost all the backward class and the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe people for the first time in the educational sphere. The 15.4 was inserted. This was the but the state, there was only few states like Karnataka and Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra and others, still only few states where there were awareness. But other states in North India and other people, there was no awareness. And no awareness was there. Not only that, even among that, for quite a long time, the central service, which is a very coveted services like IAS, IPS, IRS, IFS, and all these things, there was no reservation, but only the reservation remains as a state rule, as a state act, as a state GO. First time, the Mandal Commission was completely earlier. There was one Kaka Kalelkar Commission was appointed, but it was not even placed in the parliament and for discussion. It went to the cold storage. That's all. It was thrown to the cold storage. Nobody bothered it. But afterwards, because of this kind of awareness, the Mandal Commission was appointed. Mandal gave the report. Mandal, when he came to Tamil Nadu, Mandal very clearly, we gave a reception at Periyar Tedal, the headquarters of DK. After meeting, MGR was the then chief minister here. And he came and told, look here, you people, you are very enthusiastic about we can give the commission report only, but the implementation part remains from the people's hand. You will have to organize the whole thing. What the fate that embraced the Kaka Kalel Commission, the first commission, should not happen to us. You must be the watchdogs. That was his request. Immediately we said, we will see to it. And Dravida Kazhagam, for your kind information, organized 42 conferences along with our North Indian social leaders. They were very conscious of a fight for social justice, like our Chandrajit Yadavji, Brahm Prakashji, D.P. Yadavji, and so many other people, Karpuri Thakurji, so many other people were there. So all of them were brought under one umbrella to fight for the right of the backwards and to bring, even that was not placed and implemented. So we continuously launched 16 agitation by the Dravida Kazhagam, 42 conferences including Tamil Nadu. And for your information, the upper caste people were very particular that the Mandal Commission should not see the light. They want to give a decent burial like the earlier report. Yes. That was why even before it was published, for your information, it would be very interesting to know that the famous Hindu paper wrote an editorial, bury the Mandal Commission, bury the Mandal report. Then it was not at all published officially. Nobody knows what is the content. Then immediately, Dravida Kazhagam, we gave a call, hurry the report, Mandal report. They said, bury the bundle. We say, hurry the bundle. Each and every time we organize the conference and all these things. Fortunately, due to the efforts of Ramulas Paswan and other leaders, our Honorable Viswanath Pratap Singh was the Prime Minister. No, India has never seen such a very wise and very able Prime Minister with clean record by himself. So he was very particular in implementing that one. That too, he started implementing the 16.4, that is the employment aspect, not this for the educational purpose, because it divided into two parts, and he wanted to start it. But you know all the other things, the reaction, what happened in Delhi and all these things, Western interest. The present people, the RSS, the BJP, by then it was only, earlier they started and they were supporting the government outside support. And after he started implementing, putting this official memorandum on the implementation part of Mandal, because of the pressure, because of the various conferences, because of the public, all these things, immediately they withdrew support. Within 11 months, not even 1 year old, 11 months, he lost the confidence of the people, support of the members. But he was very happy. He told, look here, I am prepared because I have already implemented Mandal Commission. And I am prepared to pay any good price for Mandal. Because if you want to achieve any good things, you will have to go to a good price. So I am very happy and I am ready to lose even 100 times my prime ministership, 10 times more than 100 times. It doesn't matter. And he also called, that is why they started this Commandal. This was Commandal, Mandal versus Commandal.
Yes.
So this was the earlier thing. From why I am telling this long history is, present circumstances, you will have to remind this.
Yes, yes.
This reflects the present circumstances.
No, it is
The
very, very
same
important.
Commandal,
It is very, very important.
Commandal, the same Commandal has come to the power. And they want to see what they cannot destroy through the front door. They want to take it back from the back door. They want to take away our rights. And that is why they want to completely change the rights. And although the many things that we achieved, what happened, 27%. Later on, one more development. There was no reservation in the educational sector, central institution, and other things.
Yeah, yeah.
15.4 was only implemented on the part of the states only, not on the central government, federal government. That is why we had made agitation. And 2006, when DMK was part of the UPA, then they insisted, when Mr. Arjun Singh was the Human Resources Minister, and he implemented through Amendment 93, this one. In the meanwhile, we were responsible, as you know very well, about the 69%, which was had a ninth schedule protection. The whole of India, this was the only thing, and the Dravida Kazhagam was implemented for regarding the 50%, and that is a different story. Let us continue this one. And the Mandal Commission, when this was happened, the 15.4 in the state, we want to implement the educational sector also from the central institutions like IIT and all the IIMs. For that, they brought that 93rd amendment by the Arjun Singh government and Manmohan Singh.
Government.
So both education and employment have been served by this amendment, by the Mandal as well as the other things. So this part. Now, they want to take it back. Slowly, earlier in the Mandal, they questioned the Mandal Commission, Indira Sahani case and all these things. The 9 judges bench gave the report, but they added something which is not unweird, even though it was not directly the issue. The judges who happen to have their own views and all these things. The composition of the Supreme Court and higher courts, all these things full of upper caste people and all these things are there. And even there was no opportunity for the depressed and the downtrodden, even after 70 years, 72 years of independence, there was no social justice so far as in the appointment of judges in the High Court as well as the Supreme Court. That is a different matter. So all these things combined together, what happened, in Indira Sahani case, they gave one decision about the economic criteria. When Narasimha Rao government was there, as a Congress government was there, they wanted to give 10% of there is a reserved 10% of posts, the education as other things for the economically
Economically,
weaker sections of the
economically
forward
weaker.
communities.
Yes.
We objected it. We strongly objected it. Even when FDR was the chief minister here, he
Yeah.
stipulated 9,000 rupees as a condition for the backward classes. We fought tooth and nail. And MGR was defeated in this election. His party was defeated in the election. Then he learned the lesson. Then he reversed the order and cancelled the 9,000 GO. That is, you cannot superimpose economic criteria on
Yes, on social
this
criteria.
social justice question, because
Absolutely.
the 15.4, then the 15.4 first amendment was discussed by the then constitution, founding fathers of the constitution, as well as by the members of the parliament. They wanted to amend it and put it backward. What is the definition of the backward? Backward, socially and
Economic.
educationally backward.
Okay.
And Pandit Kunsru and other people, they wanted to add the word economically. Economically, socially, educationally, economically. Then Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, after it was explained by Baba Sahib Ambedkar and other people, because the economic criteria is an elastic criteria. Every now and then, the financial thing will be changing, because
Yes.
this year income may not be for next year. So that we cannot do that. And very reservation is not a panacea, is not a poverty alleviation scheme.
Yes.
The reservation is for the age-long, we are denied the opportunity. That is why we want to socialize education, socialize employment. So equitable distribution, equal distribution should be done. Then one, no discrimination. That is why it was done.
Yes.
So
Yes.
very clearly, the economic part was completely left out of socially and educationally.
Yeah.
Now all these things, this was the long history, and Constitution has done it. And clearly, what they cannot bring it from the front door, they want to
Bring it from
bring
back.
it from the back door. Even the Mandal Commission, Indira Sahani case, they decided that as per the constitutional provision 15.4 and others, there is no reservation provision for economic reservation, a reservation for economically poor people, and that too 10%. So they struck it down. But at the same time, they completely unwarrantedly, they stipulated this income criteria. This one now it is going on. This one.
Yes. Yes.
That is a problem. That was not at all an issue for the case. Issue was whether the 27% should be given. The
Yes.
27, why the 27%? Why the 27%? Why Mandal has recommended the how did they arrive at 27%? This history is, when there was a one case, that too an obiter dicta. In that case, in Supreme Court, they said the 50% should not exceed. All the reservations should not exceed 50%. That was not
Yeah.
a dictum. It was only an obiter dicta. Then immediately, they are going on, sticking on to this one. When Mandal was giving the report, there was no account was open.
Yes.
Just to open an account, he said, I don't want to cross the limit of 50, since they have already stipulated in that case. So let me confine my reserve recommendation within that. Even though the population of the backward class in 1980, as per the calculation, it is 52%. We will have to give them only 27%, because already our scheduled caste brothers and sisters are having a reservation of scheduled caste 15% in the central government and 7.2 for the
ST.
scheduled
Scheduled tribe.
tribes.
Scheduled
So
tribes.
all
Yes.
put together 22.5, that is 23.
Yes.
50 minus 23 is equal to 27.
Yeah.
This is how he arrived at 27. But for your information, all these years, we elicited through information Not after these long years, for the last 14, nearly 40 years, we didn't get, the backward classes did not get that 27% at all, which is
Yes.
a right, which is according to decided by the 9 judges bench, brought by the order of the central government, and it will have to be carried out in spite of the constitutional mandate, in spite of the clearance from the Supreme Court. They saw to it. In practice, they gave only 11 to 12% only.
Yeah, sir. Do you
All the
see?
other things remaining, the 27%, whom they were grabbed by whom? The upper caste people.
See,
This is
yes,
the greatest
yesterday,
social injustice.
yeah, if you see that the OBC reservation is under the target at the moment,
Yeah, yeah.
and they are from different angles, different ways they are working. There is an OBC commission now.
Yeah.
Justice G. Rohini, who was the chair of the Chief Justice of Delhi High Court, is the now some information about these commissions are being leaked. So the commission says that less than 1% of the so-called creamy layer communities are getting about 50% of the jobs, and 20% of the communities got nothing. Basically, the government have decided they are on the way to divide the OBC quota between perhaps like the MBCs or whatever you call ati pichada and the creamy layer kind of thing. So this is also like the work they continuously doing. And yesterday there is the civil services results have been out. In that civil services results, if you see, there are 100 and, there are some seats which are kept in pending, and if you see, a large number of OBCs are there, so perhaps a backdoor entry for the upper caste from that pending seat, if you can see that the whole game plan. Because when the OBCs are coming through the merit in the general quota, they are putting them in the OBC quota, and that's what these are the different methods where they are denying actually the presence of Dalit and OBCs in the government services. How do
Yes,
you,
exactly, exactly. That is what they are maneuvering, because always they don't want to give the rightful claim. They don't want to give us,
yes,
creamy layer aspect you are dealing. Let me put one question. What is the necessity for introducing creamy layer? That too, there was no creamy layer there was three tiers.
yeah,
One is forward caste, another is lower, and the middle is the backward class. Where is the necessity? What is the necessity? How the necessity arose for this creamy layer? Did any of the backward class complain them? Were there any representation? Were there any statistics to prove that? Where there is any quota, where there is any proof for that? They simply, they assumed certain things. It was only an assumption. That was only an assumption. You cannot presume things. And ask the data? Did your claim for creamy layer ask him? No, it was not at all. Now they want to see all these things. First generation, second generation,
yeah,
only they could avail the opportunity. Even some of the recent IAS yesterday in Tamil Nadu, the first generation people,
yeah.
they taught their sons and daughters. That is why they are able to come. You cannot tilt it. You cannot stop it. You cannot prevent them. That is the one thing. Another thing is, my question is, where happened to be the economic criteria? Very critically, they told that already one generation, the social monopoly by the upper caste people, the education and employment, went on for years and years together. There was not even the reservation for 50 years. In various states, there
Yeah.
was no reservation. There was no scheduled caste judges. There was no scheduled caste. How many of the people? So the forward communities are enjoying all these things. And even now, under the guise of these weaker sections, amendment and all these things, which amendment, 103rd amendment passed within a week, the whole implementation. When we want to see and the social justice, seek social justice to remedy this situation, it is unconstitutional. The constitutional amendment itself, 103, is an unconstitutional one. When we want to say there was no stay was not given. After hearing these cases, now after 1 year, more than 1 year, they have just referred it to the 5 benches, latest constitutional bench, which will take nearly. There was no say at all. Suppose, let me ask, if the case, the court finds the 5 benches tomorrow, it is only a presumption, tomorrow, that the amendment was not valid. What will happen to all these posts which was filled up during this period?
Yeah, absolutely.
Will they be sent out?
Yeah.
Will you get the compensation? No, it is not possible. So, any right-thinking people will say, once you admit the case, you will have to give the interim stay. That is usual.
Yes.
But the court did not say it.
Yeah, because
did
sir,
not say it.
The problem.
That is the problem.
The problem in today's political fight is that political party, the ruling party particularly, and others also, are using the courts for their inefficiencies or for their surreptitious attempt to dilute all these things. And now the target is the 69% quota in Tamil Nadu. That is the target. And where I am sure somebody is targeting through All India quota, which all Tamil Nadu parties are now opposing that in the NEET, NEET and other services, where they wanted a central quota, and every year the central quota increased, All India quota increased, and now in direct way the 69% is targeted. So can you explain how this 69% came in Tamil Nadu? What is it? It is very important for our political leaders also in the North India, because they have never fought this battle. They are even 27% battle is not being fought by them. That is where I wanted to come to you. What is this 69% and why it is important?
I am happy that you hit the nail on the head. See, actually, it's a right question. That is why I told that 69% has got history. No, as I said earlier, in that one case, obiter dicta. In that case, there was not. Is there any thing under the constitution which is number is being pointed out? There is the Constitution of India. In 15.4 or 16, the state will have to decide. That's all. The right of it is a prerogative of the state. The court cannot decide it, how much and all these things, because the court has no barometer. Only the state has got the barometer. Only the state has to relationship with the people. They know what is the situation. They are under the societal control is within the state. So it is the state which will have to decide. There must be adequate representation. And 16.4, they have used that word adequate representation. And adequate means adequately. They say 16.4, 16.4 very clearly says adequately. And the adequate representation, the state, there shall be equality of opportunity for all states relating the employment, all these things. And then nothing in this article on the grounds of all these things shall prevent the state from making any provision for the reservation for appointments posts in favor of backward class citizen, which in the opinion of the state, this is very important, in the opinion of the state, is not adequately represented in the services under the state. The state means municipal. Clearly, Article 12 defines under this section what they mean by state. Local government, state government, central government. Oh, it is the prerogative of the state only. It is not up to the courts to say you must have how much of percentage and all these things, because the court has no barometer. Only the state is the proper authority to decide it. That is why. And let me come to the interpretation of this particular article. What is the meaning of adequately? Adequately, original, it was the word, this derived from the Latin word, adequatus. That is, a Latin word is the adequatus. Till it is equalized. It means adequately till it is equalized. You want to equalize. Already there was one thing which is higher and another thing which is lower. You want to use this one adequately. That means sufficient number of people. If we want to level the ground, you will have to see that all the void of this low person part of this valley must be filled up and the bond must be destroyed. You cannot ask one bowl of the mud should be thrown there and another should be thrown to the valley. That means it won't, the equality will never be reached. That is adequately. That is why it is the prerogative of the state. And they immediately said, no. And already in that case, Supreme Court, they got 15. Even our, in the Mandal Commission report, our Ratnavel Pandian, Justice Ratnavel Pandian from Tamil Nadu, who is a backward class judge, who hails from the knows what is the woes of the backward classes. And he said, and very clearly he has pointed out, it is solo beta dicta. There was no number of question stipulation, how much it should, and all these things. When the population is there for 52%, the recommendation of the Mandal Commission was only 52%. Just to accommodate that one to open the account, they have reduced it to 27%. But in Tamil Nadu, you know, as I said, when MGR introduced this 9,000 GO, 9,000 rupees as a stipulation for the backward class, when we fought it and got it changed, then immediately he issued an order, another GO. One is cancelling the 9,000 GO. Another is, if I remember right, 72, 73, the GO. In that GO, we were clearly explained in this book. If you go through this history of struggle for social justice in Tamil Nadu, you will have these GOs and all these things. So in this book, very clearly said, he has infused, because of the population is there, and we are giving this 50% for all these things. Very clearly said. 1 minute. This in 1918, after cancelling the GO, in the GO read above, the government initially fixed reservation for the backward classes as 31% earlier. It was, if you go through Tamil Nadu history, it's different. When there was a Congress government under the regime of Kamarad, it was only 25% for the backward class, 16% for the scheduled caste. Then afterwards, when Kalaignar Karunanidhi came to power, then there was one backward class commission under the chairmanship of Satanathan, and which recommended, and that recommendation was accepted with the state commission, and they increased it from 25 to 31. Periyar said, immediately they the commission interviewed Periyar. Immediately Tandai Periyar E.V.Ramasamy said, even though whatever may be your claim, if you say that government Supreme Court stipulation is there and all this, why not you increase? Earlier it was only 25 plus 16, 41 only. Why not you increase it? Then they increased it to 31, then 18, 49, less than 50%.
Okay.
When MGR, this happened, this 9,000 GO was cancellation. Article GO number 73 clearly says, let me quote this one, GO number 73. In GO read above, The government initially fixed reservation for the backward classes as 31%. The need for enhancing the percentage has been carefully considered by the government with a view to providing the backward classes adequate opportunities. This is very important. Adequate opportunities for employment and admissions into education institutions commensurate with their population. Commensurate with the population. The government now directs that with effect from 24/1/1980, reservation of seats be made 15% for backward classes and 18% for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in respect of the courses and all kinds of education institutions under all kinds of managements like all these things, etc., etc. This is how the history of the 15%. And as soon as this was done, the Brahmins, the upper caste people, they raised certain, they incited certain forward communities, even among the non-Brahmins. You know, there's very few people. They said, they formed an association. They called it as an oppressed people's association.
Okay.
They went to Supreme Court. They questioned. No, it is the 50% they have given enhanced this MDR government, the ADMK government, and that must be chucked out. No, then the Supreme Court returned it, asked, oh, can you justify that 15%? Then immediately there must be some classification, there must be some accounting and all these things. So they want to gather some details, statistics. They appointed one Ambedkar Commission. Okay. Earlier, after Satyanarayana Commission, State Commission. MGR, that was appointed by Kalaignar Karunanidhi, DMK. The ADMK appointed Ambedkar Commission, the second backward classes commission in Tamil Nadu, which justified the population was more than 80. Okay. For that, they have given only 80%, 50%. So nearly this was justified. Once again, they renewed it. They issued another due also. That is in 1984. So this thing. When the Mandal Commission came, these people once again, they invaded the Supreme Court. Whenever they want to cancel this one, they will also directly, they won't prefer the High Court. They will directly go to the vested interest, the upper caste people, who are opposed to the social justice and the reservation, they were represented in the Supreme Court. Then Supreme Court was there before this one. Then immediately they said, by that time, Jayalalitha was the chief minister after passing away of the MDR. You know, Jayalalitha openly declared that she is a Brahmin in the assembly. However, she infiltrated into the movement and all these things, you know, the Dravidian movement. And she became the chief minister. But she was an astute politician. She sensed the feeling of Tamil Nadu. Since this is a Dravidian party, she will not be feeling at home. That is why she requested this matter must be given to so-and-so, the Dravida Kazhagam people, Mr. Veeramani and other people. Then we said, under the constitutional provision, if you invoke Article 31C, then only, already we have discussed this one, because we thought that less than this 31% and all these things are very less. And we can go to any, because the state will have to decide, not the courts. Already we have pointed out the provision 16.4 and all this. It is the state. It is the prerogative of the state. So we requested you invoke 31C and bring it to the 9th schedule under this. And what another thing, very subtle thing we suggested to the government, Dravida Kazhagam suggested, that is, we drafted the bill itself. It will be a very interesting history for anybody. We drafted the bill and handed it over. Then whatever we suggested, Jayalalitha was doing it. We are convened an all-party meeting and we explained the all parties, most of the parties, they concurred with our view. Then we said, look here, Earlier, it was communal duo. What was in vogue, all these things were reservation were given under the government orders, duo. But this time, you will have to convene the assembly, Tamil Nadu assembly, and pass an act. Only by passing an act, you can
Yes.
give the retrospective effect.
Yeah.
If there is a GO, you cannot give extra retrospective effect. Only through an act, only through for an act, you can give retrospective effect. So when they were asking, they were dealing about this 50% in the central government and Supreme Court. When the
Yes.
Mandal Commission case was going on,
Yes.
this was we took the precautionary measures, and we were very careful. We should not see that our 50% which was vogue in 1980 should
Yes.
not be stuck down. That is why we gathered a momentum and asked a moment. And because the government was with us, then she immediately convened a special assembly session, passed that one, only one item. Then immediately that was sent to the central government, to the Prime Minister for the Parliament to pass it. Then Prime Minister was Mr. Narasimha Rao Garu.
Yes.
You know, Narasimha Rao was an Andhra Brahmin.
Yeah.
Jayalalitha was a Tamil Nadu Brahmin. That by that time, Parliament was not at all functioning
Then.
because of Harshad Mehta problem. They were stalling the parliamentary proceedings. So immediately we lobbied. We went to, under the deputation, we requested, Jayalalitha led a deputation and met the Prime Minister, then Prime Minister Narasimha Rao, and the House effectively argued, no, why you are keeping this bill? You will have to clear this one. And you will have to give your assent. All these things by the parliament. You put it in the parliament and pass it. Because it's a law and all problem. This is a very sensitive problem in Tamil Nadu. Because Tamil Nadu is a land of social justice. She very effectively argued. Then we came and we at Delhi, we lobbied and we met many people. And our Sitaram Kesari was the social justice minister under our Narasimha Rao, so Prime Minister. Then we went and saw VP Singh, even our former Prime Minister, our BJP Prime Minister,
Mr. Vajpayee, Mr.
Atal Bihari Vajpayee, opposition leader.
Yeah.
He said, they all concurred without any discussion. Let us vote for this one. But there are no discussion because parliamentary proceedings, we are stalling it. The opposition is not concurring it. But we will pass it. And because of this one, it is long delayed. And we are not against this one. Then they supported it. Then it was passed. It went to for the assent Shankar Dayal Sharma. Shankar Dayal Sharma is in UP Brahmin. You know, we passed the Dravida Kazhagam wrote this, and we got this passed in Tamil Nadu Assembly by the Jayalalitha, by the then Chief Minister Jayalalitha, went to Narasimha Rao Garu, then to the Shankar Dayal Sharma. So we achieved this one. So this 69% got an amendment that is 73rd amendment. Third amendment, which was put under the 9th schedule protection. This was the first time in the whole of India. Tamil Nadu is the only state which is having the 69% reservation, both in education as well as the employment for both things. This was the history. And this was started in 1933 and all these things. Till then, all these years, we are enjoying so many.
No, it is actually,
and you know, when Deva Gowda was the chief minister, he brought 76 and all these things. He went to the High Court. They questioned it. No. Why not? They are enjoying 69% Tamil Nadu. They said they got 9th schedule protection.
Yes.
You didn't have the 9th schedule protection. They rejected it. Now, the other states, we have seen from other North Indian states also, they wanted to follow Tamil Nadu. They requested that the 9th schedule should be invoked. And another thing, you know, let me tell how very cunningly the upper caste lobby, the vested interests are doing it. They said, no, the 50% should not be crossed at any count. All these things, because of this Supreme Court order and all this case and that, they were telling. What happened to the 10% after this 10%
Yeah.
EWS quota?
Yes.
They were very silent about this one.
Yeah.
They are not invoking that argument at all.
Yeah. And
Because,
through
that
EWS, they are
50%,
actually, they have increased the upper
50%
caste
plus 10.
presence.
Yeah,
Yes.
already they have crossed that one. That
So
argument has completely, they
that's
have completely shattered.
that
They
is
have
why I
given a
say, sir.
decent burial. They have decent
Yeah.
burial of the 50% order by themselves. We
Yeah.
have not dug the grave.
That is true. But what is happening now? The 69% is on the agenda, on the target. That is for sure.
Yeah, that is why
And
they
it
want, and more than that, the RSS principle is to make it as economic criteria, no social, not on caste basis, because only by economic, the forward community, the Brahmins said that, and they want to do it. That is why they are doing it by EWs and all these things. They want to completely shatter
now
this 15-4.
Tamil Nadu is a great example. Tamil Nadu,
Yeah,
and it is because of the Dravidian movement and the social
yeah.
movement that you launched, because you were able to
Excuse me,
mobilize.
sorry for disturbing it. Tamil Nadu, even though is a homeland of Periyar and social justice, all the other parties, they say that we also supported Mandal Commission. We also support. Even the BJP comes and say, no, we also supported it for political purpose, because they cannot, nobody could raise their hand against social justice in Tamil Nadu, because the Tamil Nadu is still the land of social justice and the flag is very high. That is why
So
they don't want, they want to destroy. That is why they put Tamil Nadu as an island. They want
normally,
to do it in a very
when
different way.
when you say that, I was just hearing your representation. Is saying the reservation, because the often used term is reservation. So reservation, they say, is not really representation, because the courts also have said many times that it's not kind of proportional representation. It's the reservation for the weaker section. Now, how do we define all these issues? Is it a representation, or is it just for the so-called weaker section? How do you want to explain this?
Actually, recently, I am very happy that the Parliamentary Committee for OBC has recommended the caste-wise census must be taken.
Yes.
You just take the caste-wise census and add how many backward castes, how many forward castes have given left in the, what is the educational percentage? What is the employee percentage? Already, when EWS Act was there, the Economic and Political Weekly and other journals have written beautiful articles that already so many professors from forward communities are there. They are overeaten. We are hungry. This is the fight between these people. There is limited food, and they want the overeaten want to grab the whole feast. But we want to say already we are not served anything at all. We are not even allowed to go to the near to the serving. This is the problem. That is why we must be very careful. And the problem, we must take it to the people. It must become a people's movement, particularly the North Indian states, where our North India leaders earlier, like Kanshiramji, like Karpuriji, like even Uttar Pradesh, all these things, Mulayam Singh ji and all these things, all they people were there. And Lalu Prasad was the only thing.
Yeah.
Because of Lalu's
Yes.
ailment and all these things,
Yeah.
the Bihar, because Bihar is the biggest state next to UP.
Yes.
And Karpuriji and all these things, all these people, they were with us. Delhi Dharma Prakash. And from UP, even though Delhi, he was at Delhi, he is from UP. Our Chandrajit Yadav
Yeah.
was the earlier senior most leader who led the movement. So the youngsters, the political leaders like Mayavadi, like these people like Akhilesh Yadav, they will have to concentrate more than politics, the social justice aspect.
So
Because the
that is what
backward,
I want to say, sir. That is what I want to. That is why I want to say, what is your message for them? Because North
you
India, the
see,
parties are too much, trying to pamper the Brahmins. In UP, there is a competition virtually among these parties, and they are not talking about the OBC reservation.
UP is the only state where Brahmins are, we are told that 10 to 12%.
Yeah, 11%. Yes.
11%. But what is the other percent? You are all put together 79%, 89%. All the 89%, why not you massively do it? That is what the Kanshiram's message. That was said earlier. Instead of just fighting with each other, you will have to find a friend. You know how we are now able to secure so many seats in the earlier parliamentary elections, the last year, you know, in Tamil Nadu.
Yes.
Out of this 39, we are able to get 38.
38, yes.
38, not even one for other people, only one ADMK, that's all.
Yes.
Not for BJP could not open an account here. That kind of thing must be there. Another thing is, in Tamil Nadu, the Dravida Kazhagam is a movement.
Yes.
Whereas all the political parties are political parties.
Yes.
There must be unit, the movement to coordinate all these things.
So that is
because
where
we don't want to enter legislature.
That is where I wanted to ask you, because it is a lot of debate in our circles all over the country. Whenever we are popular or we become big leader in the movements, our only aim becomes then to get a Rajya Sabha seat or come into the Lok Sabha, and that kills the movement. You have been in the movement for so many years. I think the longest serving person right now. Yeah. And have you not thought of coming to parliament and serving to the people, or you are serving people lesser?
Because we will have to see, we will have to. There must be a movement which should not aspire for any offices, and they will have to be a public movement to shape the public opinion, to create public opinion, and lead the movement. That is more important. Of course, there may be a political parties, but to coordinate with them, this kind of movement is there, and that kind of leadership to evolve in northern Indian states. That is the only answer for that. Like Dravida Kazhagam, which doesn't want to enter into the legislature, but they stick on to the principles. They will bring all under one umbrella. Let us form a front. Whatever may be your individuality, you have your individuality. You need not give it up. So many political parties are like, you know, Tamil Nadu, communist parties are there, Vidudalai Siruthaigal are there, and the two communist parties, and Congress is also under the so-called national parties. They subscribe the view of the state, so far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. Whatever may we stand in their all India stand, national stand, they view a different one, different yardstick so far as this one. That kind of attitude must be created. So the only thing is, instead of politics, you concentrate on society at large. Let you fight in the elections, but prepare people awareness. That awareness, we are not enjoying what we have got. That has been already been taken away. That 27% was being slowly taken away, stolen. Only 11 to 10% we are to say. Every day in and out, they want to carry it out. They want to completely destroy our structure, social justice. That is why, to protect social justice, we will have to come under one thing. Another thing is very important. One is, we are not enjoying the percentage as such. Already we explained the 27 are they equally scheduled caste brothers and sisters, and they are not enjoying, they were not given the first class and 15% or 7.5%. And if you take the judiciary, it is a well-known thing from various high courts to other things, apart from the bureaucrats. So, all the three wings, what is the position? Only legislature, because of the adult suffrage, and you know, already politics divides you. Your political agenda divides you. You fight for small things, leaving for many things. That is what it is. Another thing is very subtly what the present regime is doing it. Under Mandal Commission, public institutions, there are so many main
Yeah.
things, public sector,
Yes.
banks and other
Yeah.
things, insurance, banks and all this. The public sector is being converted easily by the executive
Or the
as
private companies.
private sector for all these
Agree.
things.
All our
Uh,
natural resources, national resources have gone, are being given to
yeah,
the private companies.
all these rich magnates, corporates. It is another thing is monopoly of the corporates. When
Yes.
you want to change this from public to private, not only you are supporting the rich people, but social justice, from the angle of social
Yes.
justice, you are losing your jobs, you are losing your offices, because if it is a public sector banking, you can claim reservation.
Yes.
Under the private sector, there was no reservation in India. In America, it is there. It is affirmative action. That is why, the same time, you will have to make a movement. Very important. This is very important. Give reservation, adopt reservation, private sector also. That
Yes.
should be our demand. Next demand.
Yeah.
You protect our rules and regulations, what we have already there, the constitutional rights, protect our fight for the protection of our constitutional rights, and we should not be grabbed by the forward community or anybody. That is one thing. Same time, eternal vigilance is the price for our liberty. Eternal vigilance is the price for our liberty
But
as well as rights.
yes.
So you will have to be very careful. And they want what they very stealthily they say, no, it is private sector. We are selling railways.
Yeah.
We are selling a part of it. We are selling airways. We are telling all these things. You slowly. But what will happen? We are the backwards, the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, depressed and the downtrodden, who are entitled constitutionally the reservation, the social justice, are completely denied the opportunity of getting it by converting the public sector into a private sector. This must be prevented. For this, a movement must also be evolved. Already, the All India party like Congress, communist parties, all these things, already they accepted the private sector reservation on principle earlier. We will have to revive that movement. There must be an All India movement. The North India leaders should come forward. This is high time. This is the right time. They should, unless and until they come forward. Earlier, there was a very good leaders, as I said, like our Chandrajita and so many other people. In so far as Tamil Nadu and Karnataka is concerned, the awareness is there. But all these kind of awareness are being taken away by the
Well,
saffronizing the government.
you have seen the recent education policy have come. And the
Yeah,
same education policy is also another way to
yeah.
dilute the
That is
things,
why,
kill the social justice, kill
let
the
me come to
public
that. Very
universities.
important.
Public universities are being privatized.
In the new education's national scheme, in new education scheme,
Policy, yeah.
no reservation, no talk about reservation. There was not any provision for reservation. There was nothing mentioning about the reservation of the constitutional right. That is why Tamil Nadu has already raked up this issue. We
Also
have
the
raked it up.
three language
That
formula.
awareness was spread to the other parts of the India. That you will have to take that message to other parts. What we got all these years by fighting, carry on the fighting through Mandal Commission, this commission, that commission. They very slowly in the education front, through the new education scheme, they want to grab it. Through the employment, from private to public to private, they want to grab it. So all kinds of there, in all shades, all areas, they want to grab, they want to demolish the structure. They want to rechange the whole thing. They want to bulldoze. That is the right word. They want to bulldoze this one.
See, so why it happened? Because once the political parties have submitted or submissive or not raising issues, and those who are raising issues are called anti-nationals, then Our judiciary also has been very slow in certain things. Are you going to ask for a national judicial services where we can have the representation of the Dalits OBCs if there are national judicial services?
Already it was our demand. That is the only demand. Just like IAS and all these things, there was judicial service, all these things, there is a provision. Let there be judicial service, and it must be done by that only.
By
That
the
is the
U,
only, yeah.
maybe
And
the
the judges
UPSC
must
can
be
do it.
recruited. Okay. It's right time. This is the right time. And the social justice must be emanate from them. Then only that will be real interpretation, real implementation. Okay.
How important is the in this whole battle, in the whole battle of social justice, how important is for non-Tamil Nadu people to understand the rich legacy of Periyar?
See, you will have to, Periyar base is started his public life only the demand of social justice only. Don't consider Periyar as when they want to bring the Periyar is opposed to this religion, that religion, and all these things. They want to confuse this one. Periyar was the only fighter who was responsible for all these things. Periyar movement brought all these amendments. Periyar movement still fights it. Periyar's mission and Periyar's only, the Dravidian parties tread on the Periyar's path. That is why you follow Periyar. This is some other laughter. We are not bothered about other aspect of it. Periyar like a super party. Periyar may be a rationalist, Periyar all these things. He was a great humanist. That is why you will have to start Periyar social justice philosophy. You will have to spread. And already students, our youngsters have taken it, and you will have to spread it everywhere. In particularly in UP, Bihar, and other states, and Delhi, already students have taken it, and you will have to do it through your Hindi medium, to your other medium, and we will be happy to
One
help
of the
you in various ways.
one of the risk that I've seen is actually in the North India, the people who bring Periyar, the people want to bring Periyar only through his views on gods and Ramayana and Ramcharitmanas or whatever, and they ignore the big, as you are saying, the huge fight and struggle and success story of Periyar as a social movement. What do you want to tell these people?
Periyar, basically, you will have to impress upon those people who wants to accuse about why Periyar was, Periyar was a humanist. Periyar was against caste system. Caste system was supported by Hindu religion. That was observed in all the judgments of the Indra Sagani and everywhere. So you cannot deny it. To that extent, he opposed it. He is atheism, because of atheism. Are you hating? Are you refusing the sacrifice of our young man who succumbed to hanging?
Bhagat Singh.
Huh?
Bhagat Singh.
Bhagat Singh. Why are you appreciating Bhagat Singh or not?
Yes.
Bhagat Singh is an atheist.
Yeah, he is a model. He is a role model for all.
You appreciate his completely his sacrifice. He sacrificed his life for the country. So also Periyar. You never attach any, whether you are a believer or not, you say Bhagat Singh has done so many things. So like the Periyar, more than Bhagat Singh, Periyar has done for our community. You will have to impress in that way. It was not Periyar's way, straight away to go to God and a religion. Because the God and religion were being taken to protect this kind of social monopoly, Periyar has turned to that side. Otherwise, he won't. If you take Mandal Commission refers one part. Mandal has referred about the archery, the Dronacharya Ekalavya episode. Mandal has also referred about the Rama and the Shambuka. Do you mean to say Mandal is against it? Because already the social injustice was there. That is how the Periyar has done this. And basically, Periyar is a social scientist. He wants to go to the root of the people. What is the root cause? Only the religion, only the bigotry, only the superstition. That is why Periyar has gone to that one. He doesn't want to hurt any sentiments of any people. It is none of our business to hurt any sentiments. We are humanists.
Yeah.
We want to equalize. We want to give equal share. We want to get equal justice to everybody. We are not denying the due share even to Brahmins. If you are happen to be 30%, 3%, 12%, whatever, you take it. You leave it to other person. The proportionate representation should be there.
So
This
that
is what
means,
we want to do that.
So that means you are ultimately coming to that very, very important point that if we need to resolve India's crisis, it is through proportionality in every sector, everywhere.
Yeah.
Is that the point that I'm making? Is okay?
Yeah, proportional representation should
At every
be
level.
given. Yeah, that is our, and after our census must be done, the caste-wise basis, then only everybody will be happy. But let me give one simple example and finish it, our discussion.
Yeah.
The passengers for the rail train to travel train, they rush and immediately push each other. The passengers who go by air, they never push each and everybody because everybody's seat is assured. The same thing. That's all.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. It is
Very
a
good.
wonderful explanation given by you. India need adequate representation for all
Yeah.
sections of our society.
Finally,
And
emphasize what is meant by adequacy, adequate, till it is equalized.
yeah.
If you interpret that one, you are supposed to say, don't give any food to overeaten people. You give turn all the people to the hungry people. That is the
Yes.
right meaning of the word adequacy.
So that is what I call the Periyarist legacy that you have, and only you were able to explain all these things. I'm very happy that on the eve of the historic acceptance of the Mandal Commission report, you are here to explain to us and to all our people. I'm sure that there will be a lot of discussion and debate. The people who don't know history cannot build a future. So definitely you have taken us from history to present position to the 69% reservation in Tamil Nadu. And Tamil Nadu model is a model for all the states. And our request is to all the social justice parties, all the political parties who believe in social justice and equality should follow that model, should fight for the rights of all the sections, the marginalized, Dalit, OBCs, Adivasis, all segment of Indian communities. Thank you very much and wish you all the strength, sir.
Let me conclude. As one of the judges in Supreme Court, very progressive judges quoted reservation. We don't want charity. We want parity. That's all. What we want is parity, not charity.
So this is the answer. We want parity and not charity. I'm sure that this will resonate everywhere in our social justice meetings.
Yeah.
And hope this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. It is a pleasure to have spoken to you and wish you all strength and good health.
Okay. It's very kind of you. Okay. Thank you. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.